is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee.
Call the show or text.
Hang on. Let me get going.
You're fine. We're going to have some conversations worth having today on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Center, presented by Mid-Tennessee Barn and Joint. We got a lot of them to do, and I am pumped about it. Thank you for joining us. If you are watching on the video stream, we appreciate it. If you are listening, we also appreciate you doing that. So thank you very much.
I just know that, what's the saying, Chris? Idle hands are the devil's workshop, something like that. When JP is left to his own devices,
Yeah,
things happen.
I do, in fact.
Yeah.
There are far worse ways to open a show than Mike Keith saying the show is good.
There is a.
We could just we can quit now.
We can pretty well shut it down. Yeah, see you all tomorrow. Shoot.
That's the beginning of the show, the middle of the show, and the end.
We out.
Have a good one. Oh man,
Good thing these mics are attached.
we would drop one.
There we go.
Boom, boom. Oh man, hope you guys are having a fantastic
Thursday. And we don't
have high school football to get prepared for, and it's
Well,
Actually,
well. I'm sorry. We don't have
a bunch of high school
to get prepared for. We have one high school football
you
game.
don't have any high school football to get prepared for.
Oh man, what a fantastic day it is going to be. Looking forward to it. Got a couple great guests today. Some hoops talk with Columbia State men's basketball coach Winston Neal. Brian Coleman of Summit Spartans football team joins us one more time to close out the year. And we'll talk high school hoops, college hoops, and much more. We got some top stories to get to here momentarily, but before we do any of that, it's a short one today, but we have to give you the rundown.
This is the Rundown.
Let's do it.
The Thursday Rundown is brought to you by Barry B. Coble with Crest Point Wealth Management. Barry B. Coble with Crest Point Wealth Management offers personalized wealth management strategies for clients based on where you are in your financial journey. Go see Barry at Crest Point Wealth Management at 700 North Main Street in Columbia. Securities offered through registered representatives of Cambridge Investment Research Incorporated. A
not where
broker-dealer
she's
member
located.
SIPC. Advisory services offered through Cambridge Investment Research Advisors Incorporated. A registered investment advisor. Crest Point Wealth Management and Cambridge are not affiliated.
Oops. She just moved. I forgot.
Ah, goodness gracious. NBA action from Wednesday night. The Grizzlies fell to Dallas 104-96. And that's it for the results side of things. Today's schedule in high school basketball action, Spring Hill travels to Fairview. How do you get from Spring Hill to Fairview? Don't answer that. Anyway, doubleheader starting at 6 with the girls. High school wrestling action tonight. Eagleville travels to Spring Hill for a 5:30 start, roughly. Columbia Central, for the second time in 3 nights, will wrestle Marshall County, this time in Lewisburg, starting around 5:30. And at 6 o'clock, Independence is at Blackman. That'll be a good one.
That will be a good one. High school football action tonight, Mo. We were just talking about the East-West All-Star Classic is at 7 p.m. That's going to be on the campus of Austin P State University. And
if you thought it was tonight, tomorrow night, well, it was. Now it's not.
It was. Now it ain't. Here we go. In NHL action, the Preds are traveling up to New York to take on the Islanders. It's a 6:30 puck drop on Valley. And Thursday night football, the Steelers are at Minnesota. 7:20 kick on Fox. And NBA, the Grizzlies host the Lake Show. 7 p.m. And speaking of the Lakers, I'll mention something here in just a second, but that's going to do it for the rundown. So HBO and the Jeff Pearlman Lakers book about the 80s Lakers is now a HBO series.
Starting in March?
Starting in March. That's going to be cool. I mean, just if nothing else, the graphics and the just kind of, you know, seeing what it was like in the 80s.
I wonder how much, and I would never ask him, but what's the check when your book gets turned into an HBO series?
Let's just, and the first thing I thought of was, you know, we don't get into this business for the money, and Jeff didn't get into this business to make money.
No,
he just so happened to be very good at research and turning facts into consumable
digestible
content.
Mm-hmm.
And he's really good at it, and it has turned into a fantastic career for Jeff Pearlman, the former Tennessean sports writer.
Might try to get him here.
We might need to get him.
It's been a while,
and really cool that he was that he has been able to turn his abilities into something as cool as that. So anyway,
yeah.
Other top stories we failed to mention. We may have mentioned it briefly. I'm not sure. I know I had said something to you, but I don't know if we said anything on the show about.
I don't know that we discussed it on the show.
About Tennessee State great Claude Humphrey, who passed away earlier this month, an NFL Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Grew up watching him play for the Falcons when the Falcons were really bad. He and Tommy Nobis were two of the few things worth watching in the red and black back then. But,
he was the Dale Murphy and Phil Negro of the Falcons.
Yeah. That's a pretty good comp there, actually. But yeah, inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2014 after spending 11 seasons with the Falcons and 3 more with the Eagles. Won an NFC championship in 1980. 6-time Pro Bowler, 5-time first-team All-Pro, 3-time second-team All-Pro. He was the NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year in 1968, and coming off of a great career, like you said, at Tennessee State, and passed December 3rd at the age of 77. His high school number has been retired. Member of both the Tennessee and the Georgia Sports Hall of Fames, and his number at TSU was retired. So during Super Bowl 15, Humphrey was called for roughing the passer against Oakland Raiders Jim Plunkett. Humphrey picked up the penalty flag and fired it back at referee Ben Dreith. That's a Hall of Fame move right there in and of itself.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not always for that, but sometimes I'd be for that.
So check this out. I had forgotten this. I feel sure I knew it at the time. But he was on that Philadelphia Eagles team that played against Oakland in the Super Bowl, as was Murfreesboro native, Vanderbilt standout, Dennis Harrison, current wrestling coach at Brentwood Middle School. So the 2 defensive ends for the Philadelphia Eagles in that Super Bowl were both had local ties.
Middle Tennessee ties. That's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Oh, man. We're going to talk a little bit more about the East-West All-Star Classic and the fact that Maddox Reed will not be participating a little bit later with Brian Coleman. But again, that game is tonight, not tomorrow. If you were planning on going, you should probably think about, getting started. Couple of other things in the high school world. Columbia Academy's Carly Quillen signed earlier today, or at Columbia Academy, and she will be heading to Freed Hardeman. Tell you what, that softball team up there is going to be really good.
They suddenly got real good real quick. Between Carly Quillen, who hit 449, scored 51 runs, and was 22 of 23 on stolen base attempts for the Lady Bulldogs last spring as they won their second state championship in as many attempts.
Yeah, that's really weird.
Yeah, it really is, because in 19 they won it in Class A. They went to Division 2A for 20, no tournament. Won it in Division 2A this past spring. So,
and probably gonna win it again,
most likely,
because I don't know who's gonna be hitting Miss Slaughter.
I don't know who's going to be hitting Miss Slaughter, and I don't know who's going to pitch to Malia Hardy.
Nobody.
So
nobody with a brain.
She might have to step across the plate and try to get a bat on a couple.
It's just bad news bears it.
Yeah.
Big news coming out of Chattanooga in the high school football world. Baylor and Phil Massey part ways. 16-year vet.
98 and 61 in 16 years. 2 Division 2 AAA runner-up finishes in 2010 and 2011. And the timing of this really makes me feel like somebody watched McCallie win its 3rd consecutive state championship and said, up with this, we will not put.
I don't know how we get to that level, but we can't stay at this one.
No.
What we've been doing is unfortunately not enough. And Phil Massey, great football coach, one of the best in that area. But I mean, it's just like Ed Orgeron got fired for not being Nick Saban. That's just the bottom line.
That's tough. I mean, 98 wins over 16 years. That's pretty solid, isn't it?
One would think. I mean,
I guess it's been 10 years since they've been to the state championship game. And I guess that's the way they explain it. But it's also been a month since they got their season completed, which is why it feels like to me this was precipitated by the events of last Thursday night.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because I'm not sure what their record was this year, but 2020 they were 4-4, 0-1 in the playoffs. Went 9-2 in 2019, but lost in the first round of the playoffs to NBA. 2018 4-7, 2017 4-8.
Okay.
Had not been to the semifinals since 2016 when they lost to Brentwood Academy. So I mean,
that makes a little bit more sense.
It's
to be
trending
honest,
downward.
It's just the timing is odd to me.
Trending downward, but it's trending downward at the same time that McCallie is trending upward. So perhaps there's a reason for that. Anyway, when we come back, we will tell you the team of the week, the player of the week, and we'll talk high school sports, high school hoops on the other side. Stick around right after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Local sports talk you'll only find here. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Live from the Lee Company studio with the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yao.
Welcome back in Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. Got plenty of hoops to talk about, Mo. We've had a good week of heading back to last Wednesday. Had a solid week of action. Got some really good basketball being played in our immediate area here in South Williamson, Murray, Lawrence counties. I'm excited about
North Giles.
I'm excited about what we've got coming up. And of course, you can follow all of that coverage on MainStreetMurray.com, MainStreetPreps.com, and looking forward to continuing to bring you the best, most comprehensive and timely coverage of high school sports in the area. Let's talk about one of the teams, Mo, that had a pretty good week last week. The In to Win Life Team of the Week, presented by our friends at Custom Stone Handlers, goes to the Central Basketball Boy Lions. 3-0 last week. The Boy Lions. Not the girl lions, the boy lions. There are two different kinds of lions.
Lions, not to be confused with lions.
That's correct. Not the Lions.
Not the Lions. Not the Columbia Central Lions.
Although that would be hilarious if they were. If they did a playoff of that, that would be so good.
The Nick Campbell led Central Lions went 3-0 last week, defeating Rockville 64-39 on the road, going up to my old stomping grounds and defeating the Franklin Admirals 77-58, and then coming home on Saturday, scoring 52 points in the second half to defeat Riverdale 73-63. Impressive.
That's a tough week right there.
Tuesday, Friday, Saturday.
And you're talking about two Murfreesboro schools and Franklin. That's a solid week, which is why they are the In to Win Life Team of the Week.
There you go.
MTBJ Player of the Week. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Player of the Week goes to Auden Slaughter, the freshman. He's a freshman. Yeah. Auden Slaughter, 27 points per game in 2 wins last week. Dropped 31 against Perry County and had 5 total threes in the 2 wins for the undefeated Santa Fe Wildcats, Mo. Undefeated.
6-0.
And untied.
But scored upon.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah. The freshman,
kid's really good. And I'm telling you, I mean, just
when he figures it out, it's gonna be really good.
right. Yeah, if he ever finds out that he's good, seriously, that kid's a phenomenal. And his brother is, I'm telling you, just the fact they've got 3 basketball players down there that are really good basketball players. And I mean, this is going to be a good year for Santa Fe. Watch out for the Wildcats. All I'm saying.
And I think they're motivated because they feel like they left some stuff on the table last year.
Oh, they certainly did. And here's the thing. There's a couple of teams they ain't got to worry about. So I'm just saying.
I'm
not saying. Just
I'm
saying.
just saying.
All right. Let's talk a little bit of football before we get to our game of the week and some more basketball, just because we want to go ahead and wrap up our high school football pick'em. We picked 134 games last year, Mo, or this year. 134 high school football games were picked. And I mean, honestly, if we were a baseball team, it'd be pretty good.
Doesn't mean we'd win the World Series, though.
Does not mean we win the World Series. But after last week, Mo and I picked 2 games differently. We split
them.
the 2 games, unfortunately, which means I went 6-3. Mo went 6-3, and we tied for the season at 101-33. 101 correct picks to 33 incorrect picks. That's pretty good.
It's pretty solid.
I mean, 75% every day.
I mean, I'd put that up against anybody that wants to come up to me and say, "How'd you miss that game?" Well, you know, I'll take 1 out of 10.
I'm gonna miss a few, but
I'm gonna get a lot. So yeah, we might have to figure out a way to throw this thing open next year. We talked about it, just couldn't quite figure out the logistics of it. But you know, some kind of an I beat Mostradamus kind of thing in parentheses and Chris.
Dude, that would. I know there's a way to do it. I mean, I want to get.
We've got some parameters that
we set everything up. We were ready to go. We just couldn't get it done in time with the transition from SMTNsports.com to Main Street Murray. So if you guys are interested, make sure to pay attention to that, because next year we will have a high school football pick'em, and it's going to be a lot of fun. We'd love to have you guys join us in that. Back into hoops, because we have our game of the week, our Fast Stop Markets game of the week. You pass a few of those on the way down to Lawrenceburg. If you've got Verizon cell phone service, just leave your phone in the car,
because you ain't gonna need it.
You are not gonna need it. Will not be able to use it.
Not in Ralph Benson Gym
or anywhere in the vicinity of Ralph Benson Gym, because Lawrenceburg has no Verizon cell phone service. That's okay. They host the Columbia Central Boy and Girl Lions. And I'm excited about both these games. I think they're both going to be good basketball games. And here's the positive for Columbia Central is that football game is tonight, which means they will potentially have Q Martin available tomorrow night in Lawrenceburg. So
yeah, most likely. I can't see Q not playing if he's available to play.
In these all-star games, you might play 3 or 4 series tops. I mean, typically, because they're trying to play everybody.
Well, here's the thing. He's hoping to get some run on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Tonight. So, but we'll see how that goes. We're going up there, obviously. And, but yeah, he could be in the house for that Lawrence County game tomorrow night. And this is a team that's coming in at 7-1. Their only loss was to a really good Lebanon team. Meanwhile,
look at Lebanon, man, with the high school or the football season they've had, the basketball season they're having.
They're loving life right now.
I'm going to have you and Tommy fight it out.
The girl Blue Devils coming off of a
are they the Devillettes?
Actually, I think they are.
I think they are the Devillettes. Yeah,
coming off of a state championship game appearance last year. Corey Barrett over there doing a great job as well. But we digress. LCHS comes in at 6-0 under their first year coach, Wilson. What's his first name? JP.
Oh,
Sure.
Mark, not
No,
Mark.
no, it's not Mark. Hang on a minute.
His
It has
last name is
escaped me
Wilson.
as well.
It
Yeah, Wilson.
I mean, I couldn't tell you, but
Joseph
that's it.
Joseph Wilson. Yeah. So again, Lawrence County 6-0, Columbia Central 7-1. The Girl Lions. I cannot believe you said that, but
Well, I mean, you have to
5-3 coming
differentiate.
off of a big win over at Lewisburg the other night, 58-19 over Marshall County. Lawrence County's girls coming in at 4-2, coming off an even bigger win against Giles County on Tuesday, down the Bobcats 81-29. So they've put some points up this year. I think they had 95 against somebody.
I don't know, but I can tell you this. The girls team has been really good. All year, and this is going to be a tough test for the Lady Lions.
In a game that is not a District 8 AAA game, as it has been since the beginning of time, because of the 4 classification system that went into effect this season. Columbia Central now a member of District 12 4A. Lawrence County still in 8 AAA, but it's configured a little differently, or a lot differently.
Yeah, that girls team beat Giles County 95-25.
Okay. And 81-29.
And yeah,
I don't think Giles County wants to see them anymore.
No, they'll just take it to the house. This is a really good Lawrence County team. I'm looking forward to it, especially this boys game. I mean, 7-1, 6-0, both teams coming in hot. This is a rivalry game, if there ever was a rivalry game.
And we will have coverage of this game from
the one and only
LCHS grad
Hey,
Jonathan.
Don't hold that against me, and
Make
I
sure-
can be impartial.
I was going to say now.
Yeah.
Make sure not to wear your.
I-
If you're going to wear purple and gold,
this would be the perfect night to wear purple.
if you're going to wear
and
purple
gold,
and
yeah.
gold,
actually,
this is the
because-
time.
Yeah.
I do have both Lawrence County and Columbia Central
Wear,
gear.
wear your Columbia Central shirt and your LCHS hat.
Yeah.
You'll be good to go. They might,
No, it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I stopped by and saw them, Lawrence County and Giles County, Tuesday night on my way back into town, just to get a glimpse before I covered them. Lawrence County girls can shoot the 3. That's where they're going to get those big scores. And the Wildcats, really fast paced, a lot more fast paced than what Coach Shane Clark has done, at least recently. Now a lot of guys came back from last year's team, and the Wildcats look pretty good. It's going to be a fun game, and there's obviously some history wrapped into this rivalry beyond just it being Lawrence County and Columbia Central, which is going to be fun. It should be a good crowd. They had a really good crowd Tuesday night. I imagine tomorrow night should be really big.
yeah, I mean, when you've got, and Columbia Central comes in with guys like Jordan Davis, who's been to the CP3 camp, Amari Franklin, Ronnie Bailey, Q Martin, obviously Bubba Perkins. This is a really, really good Columbia Central team, and honestly, I'm not sure if Lawrence County's seen the athleticism they're going to see tomorrow night. So,
well, I tell you, they've got a couple of guys that match up, I think. Particularly one guy who at one time was not there and apparently came back. Elijah Reynolds is a kid who I think transferred away, but like I said, he's back. He scored 6 points in the 79-43 win over Giles County on Tuesday night. So about 6'6" live wire. He's going to be a kid to watch.
He is. He's really grown up. You know, he's been on the scene since his freshman year because of his athletic ability, and we've seen the steady progression. Very comfortable with his athleticism. I think his body finally caught up to that wiriness that you talk about. But I tell you, a player who was a really good football player, really good cornerback for David Marston and the Wildcats, Ja'Cabry Stevens.
That kid.
Ja'Cabry? Not
See,
Ja'Cabry?
Ja'Cabry, yeah, I think it is
Okay.
Ja'Cabry.
Okay.
And you know,
did you see that play?
yeah, there. If you go on social media, Twitter, a fantastic catch behind the back and then lay in with the finger roll. It was beautiful.
Catches it, goes behind the back, and
kind of in
then
midair.
comes up. Yeah, I mean, it was an absolute thing. It's on SM_TN Sports Twitter. I quote tweeted it. It's phenomenal. What a play! Yeah, that kid's going to be. He's going to be hard to beat. But you know, in that Hardin County win, 14 threes, Mo, you better get a hand in their face.
Yeah, you got to run them off the line for sure. But I think Central defensively will be able to, with the guys that they can put out there, I think they can press them off the line and make them take some twos instead of threes. The interesting thing about this Lawrence County team, a lot of football guys, including Alex Carr.
Yeah.
Who
Alex
seems
Carr,
to be in the middle of everything down there.
I got a feeling he's going to be Mr. Most athletic.
Yep.
Yeah.
One would think.
Superlative.
Yeah.
Senior class.
He will certainly be
most
athletic in the senior superlatives. I got a feeling.
Some other games worth keeping an eye on. Indy goes to Page tomorrow night. Santa Fe and Mount Pleasant play for the second time out at Mount Pleasant this time. So,
and then finally, moving into the college world real quick before we wrap up, big milestone for Quay Kennedy, the former Columbia Central Lion.
Scored his 1,000th point just 20 seconds into Lee University's 69-66 win over Christian Brothers on December 4th. Finished up with 14 points and 8 boards. I knew that guy was going to be a steal when Lee University signed him, and he has lived up to it.
Yes, he has. All right, when we come back, we've got Brian Coleman going to join us on the phone, so stick around after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
This is Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Sports talk like it used to be. You know, like your crazy uncle used to listen to. Only better. Here's Chris and Mo.
Welcome back in. I used to be kind of worried about that. That's a little presumptuous to say it's better, but then Mike Keith said it's good, so I'm good. I'm just saying.
And that was unsolicited.
Unsolicited. And it wasn't even on our show.
Yeah,
It was on
it was
somebody
actually on
else's-
another
It's
show.
on somebody else's show, which is even better.
There you go.
Hey, by the way, they're doing a good thing down there too. Oh man, looking forward to wrapping up the high school football season, at least as far as locally is concerned tonight with the East-West All-Star game. I guess the All-American game still to come for one local player, at least two.
No.
We have just one. I mean, there's some others in Middle Tennessee,
Mhm.
just not in our coverage area.
Right.
But looking forward to it. And man, what a great football season it was. Culminated on Saturday night with the Summit Spartans and Oakland Patriots. Great football game. Everything you wanted to see from two teams that just heavyweight fighters going blow for blow. And unfortunately, Summit did not come out on the winning side, but certainly put up every bit of a fight that you would want, Mo. And I'm looking forward to talking to Coach Brian Coleman here in just a moment on Coach's Corner, presented by From the Heart Cafe out in Chapel Hill. Don't forget to go see Renee and the folks over at From the Heart, who do a phenomenal job taking care of you, especially this holiday season. If you've got corporate parties, office parties, no better way to get it catered than to have Renee and the folks taking care of. So
We really need to take our own advice.
we really do. I mean, it's really hard right now with my schedule, but we'll get there.
Well,
We'll get
maybe
there.
JP and I just need to.
Well, just bring me back some blueberry cobbler. That's all I ask.
Yeah, I got you.
Be nice.
All right. Coach Coleman joins us now. Coach, welcome in. Thanks for taking some time with us today.
What's up, guys?
How are you doing?
All right. Recovered.
Yeah, I understand.
He
It's-
slept at least.
the recovery is a little different after an outcome like Saturday's than it was after, say, last year's, I guess.
100%. You're right. You're exactly right.
And I would imagine the recovery after Saturday is even a little different than it was after 2 years ago, after the loss to Central.
It just feels like feels like we played about 45 games, but it seemed like a long season, which is fine. That's good. I mean, 14-1, so it was a great season, but it did feel long. There was no breaks throughout the season. You know what I'm saying? We had 15 straight weeks of really, really good teams that we had. It's just I don't know. Good season.
It's not like last year when you only played 6 games on the field and you got a few breaks in there. That's got to be
that's
it's
true.
a little
That's true.
different.
Brian,
Exactly.
is it different when the expectations are there?
100%. It is. I mean, and we knew what this senior class was capable of. So I mean, that was the biggest thing, I guess, is for us as a coaching staff, is to not let them down or not let this class down. Try to give it everything we had as a coaching staff every week. And it was just, it was a long season. I mean, this is a good group. I mean, it wasn't like we had to really, really motivate them heavily each week, but I felt like it was a little bit added pressure for sure.
When this season began and we all, we basically crowned you guys, the West bracket champions. Yeah, West side. Was that something that you guys were feeling? Because it just never felt like at any point in this season or in the last 3 seasons that this team ever got the pressure, never really got to them.
Well,
I think we're getting ready for a revelation here.
Maybe so, because I mean,
It
you
is.
just never saw it.
Yeah.
Good. That's good. Oh, that's good. I mean, I don't know. As a coaching staff and as players, as kids, as parents, everybody reads clippings. They're not necessarily newspaper clippings anymore, but everybody reads Twitter these days. And I mean, and we wanted a shot at Oakland too. You know what I mean? Everybody said, "Oh, that'd be a great game between the two. Can't wait to see this matchup happen. Can they get there? Can they make this matchup happen?" And we did. And I mean, I just felt like, but going through the Brentwood and the Ravenwood and the parity that always happens in this region in years past in 6A, that somebody always felt like got upset, like the team that won the first time didn't necessarily win the second time. So it was always, combating that to try to not make that happen this year was also a thing too, I think.
Oh yeah. I mean, the last couple of years with Independence getting beat 2 years ago by Brentwood, Independence getting beat last year by Brentwood, Franklin beating Ravenwood last year.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. It just felt like that, every playoff year in that particular quadrant of the bracket, there was always a big upset. This year that didn't really happen, and you guys had to play a bunch of really good teams to get there.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, Houston County was no slouch for a first round game, and then you got to beat Brentwood, you got to beat Ravenwood, and even the Hendersonville game was tough. I mean, they had their share; they had to go through their region. So, I mean, it's no weeks off, but I think that's the way it's supposed to be. I mean, it's 6A now. You know what I mean? There's not going to be weeks off in 6A because there's no slouches in players. There's no slouching in coaching staff. I mean, to get there was hard, was difficult on these guys, mentally, physically, and I mean, it was a testament to get there. And we, I mean, I know we're upset, and we'll look back at it, starting to look back at it now and say, second place 6A wasn't that bad. I know we wanted to win it all, and I think we gave our best shot at it, but shouldn't hang our heads at the end of the day of what this group accomplished.
If it was easy, anybody could do it, right, Brian?
Sir, yeah.
You mentioned how physically tough this was. You had 3 guys named to the East-West All-Star Classic that is now being played tonight up at Austin P. Brady Pierce, Cooper Cook, and Maddox Reed. Maddox has actually had to withdraw from that ball game due to a previous injury.
Yes, sir. Yeah, he's had a shoulder problem all year long, had a brace, and it kind of got really, really bad the week of the state championship game. So, I mean, he didn't really practice all that week. He was going to therapy twice a day just to kind of get it strengthened back up, in order to play. And, had him taped up, braced up, and he fought through it and played a good game. And Cooper has a broke hand, so he's going there this week with a cast on his hand. And I don't know if we mentioned Ty. Ty was our center. He broke his right hand, so he had a softer cast on his right hand, and played through that. As a matter of fact, he did it in the third quarter of the Hendersonville game and practiced all week, kind of limited, but came in a state championship game and played a heck of a game, and every snap was perfect. I mean, with a broke hand. So, and me and you talked about it, Mo, off air. I'm not trying to make excuses, but I want everybody to understand what these kids fought through for the team, for the community, for, everybody that's a Summit Spartan fan, I guess you could say.
And I think that's fair, Brian. I think, after the fact, it's not making excuses. It's stating fact. These things happened, and I think that's fair to you and your team to say that, especially the way you framed it. Like you said, these guys were beat up. They could have decided not to play. They tried to go out there and give it their all for the program, for the community, and they're to be commended for that.
You're right. I believe so. That's why I'm trying to shed so much light on it. I mean, and Cooper went twice to the doctor to try out 2 different casts. Ty took a football with him to get his cast put on so his hand could, form to the football. I mean, these kids, there was never a doubt. I mean, they'll get hurt, they'll go see our trainer and say, well, I'm playing. So how are we going to get to play? So that was their mindset from the get-go. And I mean, and Keaton and Destin were beat up too. I mean, just I don't know. I'm just proud of them, man. It just makes me a proud coach to to tell these stories so people understand of what they did go through.
You know, when you said that to me after the game, I didn't realize the impact that it could have had. Just, I mean, when your center's right hand is broken, that's a big
and he's
deal.
right-handed.
I mean, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And it
Pretty big
certainly
deal.
it certainly makes,
Especially in shotgun.
Amen. That's right.
I mean,
and I thought under center. So we've gone under center some, short yardage. So that was even hard. That was even worse.
Oh,
So
really?
in any short yardage, in any short yardage
Because of the
situation,
contact?
we weren't gonna. Yeah, the contact of it, and I guess the force of it, the retaliation of it, I guess, coming back of it. So that wasn't a thing. It doesn't matter if it's person go from the one, we weren't going under. So
Oof.
y'all would have been talking about me probably on the air.
Yeah, you're right.
Shotgun snap.
what is he thinking? Well, now we know the rest of the story.
There we go. Thank you,
You
Bob
know,
Harvey.
speaking of going under center, when you made the transition 3.5 years ago to Destin Wade as a freshman after your quarterback got hurt from the wing tee to the sling tee.
Yeah.
And we're already mad at you.
We're a little grudgeful of the fact that the first time you used that phrase was not on our show.
But
sorry.
It's a fantastic phrase. And I think it perfectly defines what offense that you run. And I think, I'm just curious how that's going to transition in the future.
That's a great question. I guess whoever wins the quarterback battle next year, but I think, and partial because it's us and it's us, our coaches, that this offense I think morphed into something pretty cool. I mean, you got a wing T based offensive line going. We can still spread it out and go 2x2, go 3x1. And I mean, just the different reads we got off of it too is pretty unique. Just about every coach we play, they're like, man, that's pretty neat. How y'all doing so and so, and that's just talking to a bunch of coaches. I mean, I've talked to so many coaches. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? And I think we've culminated into something pretty cool or hard to defend. So I think a lot of it we're going to keep. I mean, just because that's our identity, and I know we know how to call that, and we know how to run that type of offense. So I think regardless of who does get the job, I think it's still going to be quite a bit similar.
The thing that I would suggest, and who am I? What do I know? But the one thing you don't have in this offense, or at least that I never saw, and maybe you just didn't need to use it, was like a wing back trap, right? With everybody flowing to the left and then getting it back to that wing back going, in the trap. If you added that out of the shotgun, oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
We had that, but people kept chasing that down. People would practice that so much. As soon as that wing back vacated that area, they would just start chasing it down. Yeah. I mean, we had run that double handoff for years. We called it the scissors play. We had run that. That was the old school wing tee, run that double handoff. And heck, and you get to play in Hendersonville and Oakland, and
there it is.
Still running it. So, and there it is. So, I mean, it's still a mainstay in a lot of people's offense. Some people call it a Sally, just different kind of things like that. But we got away from it. We had made it where it wasn't a double handoff. It was actually a quarterback keeper counter where the tight end and tackle pull. So we had that. It just didn't look the same.
Gotcha. Well, I was just thinking, boy, it'd be cool if you fake the pitch to Keaton and then a little shovel pass to the wing back going the other way would have been just crazy.
Because Chris wants to be your offensive coordinator,
No,
Brian, and you can come and write some stories for Main Street Murray.
I thought it would have been cool. That's all I'm saying.
Now, let me tell you also something that shovel passes look really good in the NFL and college, but shovel passes are sometimes pretty ugly in high school football.
No doubt. Brian Coleman.
That rusher coming. You've got to have that rusher coming upfield, and that doesn't happen all the time in high school football.
Coach, thank you so much. We appreciate it. We'll be back after this. Stick around. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Let me say something else too about Mo Pat. Mo has done it all. I mean, he's covered the Titans, he's covered the Vols, he's done high school. He's a fantastic writer. He's now actually hosting a talk show every day in Columbia that is outstanding.
I said no. Sarah says it has to happen. I'm not going to win that battle,
No,
but I can tell you that
I'm surprised she even asked you.
I brought it up.
Oh, you brought it
I
up.
said we're not.
Now,
doing
why
enough.
did you open that door if you didn't want it to be there?
I said we're not doing enough on the shelf, right? She goes, "Oh, we're definitely doing enough on the shelf."
Who
Okay.
should have been number one all
I'm not
year?
asking you. I'm telling you that Georgia shouldn't have been, and they shouldn't be in the playoff. I would take Notre Dame in the playoff
You,
over
you
Georgia
know
right
what?
now.
That's a conversation not even worth having.
From preps to pros and everything in between, it's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Live from the Lee Company studio. With the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yow.
Welcome back in Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Mo, $1.7 million in Little Richard's Moore County home can be yours.
Wow.
And if you will, you know, if you're out there and you're looking for an agent, choosy buyers choose Chip.
You know, when you said $1.7 million in Little Richard's Moore County home could be yours, the correct response to that would have been, shut up. But I missed it. So
That's good.
my bad.
Oh, man. Welcome back in. We are looking forward to a great second half of the show. And we get a chance to talk about a couple of hoop matchups coming up in the next few days. And if you're not doing anything around 1 o'clock on Friday or Monday, boy, have we got a deal for you. Columbia State will be playing in a couple of what you call businessman specials here.
Take
It's a
along
baseball
one.
term,
Yeah.
but yeah.
And I guess it's a little sexist. It should be business persons specials
You know,
these days.
maybe.
Yeah.
But Columbia State will be taking part. They will be at Central tomorrow at 1:00 and at Columbia Academy at 1:00 on Monday. And leading the team will be, of course, head coach Winston Neal, who joins us now. Coach, welcome in. Thanks for taking some time with us.
Thanks, guys. Good to be here.
First of all, Coach, speaking of baseball, I don't know that we've spoken to you since the events of mid-October. I know you're in Atlanta.
Probably.
And
Huge Atlanta Braves fan.
Yeah.
Lifelong Atlanta Braves fan.
There you go.
Dale Murphy. Oh, man. Dale Murphy, Terry Pendleton, Maddox, Glavin, Smolte, the whole 9 yards. Huge Braves fan. So I cannot tell you how happy I am that we won. So, yes, I wear my Atlanta stuff very proudly.
There we go.
We do too.
There we go. We are as of right now, actually. Coach, you guys are playing Friday against Western Kentucky Community and Technical College out of Paducah. That's the 1:00
Yes,
game?
Sir.
That's the 1:00 game Friday at Columbia Central. You're playing.
Yes, sir. At Central. Yep.
And then on Monday at 1:00, you're playing Southeast Missouri Prep at Columbia Academy. And I know that you've played some of these midday games around this time of year from time to time over the course of your career here at Columbia State. I think you played up at Centennial once against Birmingham Southern's junior varsity. But what do you feel like the gain is for this overall?
This is for me. It was big for me when I took the job. I think it's 7 years now. 7 years ago was to reach out to the community, to be active in the community. And one of the things is, and that's what we're doing. This is a community game. We're going up, or I should say, community games. We want to go out. We want to reach out to the community. We want to play in the community, particularly these high schools, mainly because these are future Columbia State Chargers. Not necessarily on the basketball court either. We're recruiting multiple kids from both schools, but the big thing is we want to give back to the community because these are the young men and women that are coming in. They'll be our freshman class in the next 3, 4, 5 years, and that is big for us. Is to put Columbia State on their radar and say, hey, look, come to college here, whether you play a sport or not a sport. Come to school here. We're a great community college. You can get your 2-year degree here and then move on to Tennessee, Vanderbilt, Belmont, Lipscomb. We just want to get the word out that, hey, Columbia State is here. We're open. We're back on campus. We want everybody in the community to come to Columbia State once they graduate high school.
When you are building that fan base within these schools, I know, I guess it was last year, maybe year before, I'm not sure, when they played at Spring Hill Middle.
That's right.
That was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed watching that game. And nobody got the chance to see you guys last year, so this is an opportunity to kind of reintroduce your team to this community after not being able to be in the gym with you last year.
Oh, you're exactly right, and it's been funny because we've had some really great crowds of 200-300 people in our stands so far this year. I mean, we have. There have been games where we've packed it out, and it's just nice being back, being able to get back out in front of folks instead of being everybody watching online. They can see us in person because we do have a good team. We do have some very talented players. We are getting better every single day. We are trying to make another run at a conference championship. We're trying to put ourselves in a position to play for a national championship. And we want the folks to come out and see us. We want them to see good basketball. And, that's really important to me. That's really important to our players. So it is great for folks to be able to come out and see us in person again. And we want them, we want everybody in the community to come see us play.
Speaking here on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports today with Winston Neal, Columbia State men's basketball coach. Coach, 2 years ago, you guys were ready to go out to Hutch and basically got pulled off the bus because of COVID. Last year, you lost to Southwest in the conference championship game. I mean, is there a feeling of unfinished business within your program, given the events of the last couple of years?
I wouldn't say necessarily unfinished business. I would say, listen, there is a certain expectation that we have set in this program, and it's been built over time. And I got to give my assistant coach Quan Dully a ton of credit. Larry Jones, my other assistant coach, a ton of credit. You know, we have, and I've got to give the players, the current players, the former players, a ton of credit. We have built this program up to the expectation is to compete for championships. That is the goal day in, day out. We talk about it consistently about, listen, you know, what is our effort level? Is our effort level championship caliber effort level? You know, is our execution, is our defense, our rebounding, is it worthy enough to win a championship? Because that is the goal. You know, obviously losing last year, and it was actually in the semifinals. You know, we had multiple opportunities with under 5 seconds to go to win the game. We didn't finish. You know, that has been stressed this year multiple times that we are going to finish. We're going to make those plays. You know, it is an expectation now, Maurice, that we play for championships, that we compete for championships. And I think that's a good thing. You know, winning it kind of let us know, listen, we can do this. We're not just talking. This is something that we can do, and we will do. You know, technically speaking, we won the Western Division last year. You know, we were ranked in the top 25. We had every opportunity. We didn't finish. We have to come back, focus on ourselves, get better to where, listen, we finish those plays and we leave no doubt. And if we leave no doubt and we do what we're supposed to do, we'll be hosting a trophy. Now it's our job to you know, tape up and go after it.
Coach, you know, this is a team that has a lot of expectation, as you said, and you have set that. How do you feel at this point this team has met those expectations, or have they?
To be very honest with you, it's been, you start realizing that we are as many returners as we bring back, and we bring back a ton of guys. We are still learning. We are still growing. We are playing guys that have not been starters before. Guys that you know, had, you know, role player minutes last year are now starters. So, you know, there is an adjustment period. That being said, there have been moments where we have been absolutely fantastic. You don't go on the road and beat Vincennes at Vincennes for the first time in 49 years if you aren't talented. However, we have let a couple games slip that we should not have let slip. But once again, that's part of the learning process. Now, we have been through a ton so far this year, and if you'd told me all the stuff we were going to go through and told me that we were going to be 8-2 going into, you know, the final week of the first semester and 5-1 in conference, I would have taken it in a heartbeat. You know, I've got to give the credit to all of our guys. You know, we have been through a lot. We have learned, we have grown, and we have still found a way to win some games that we probably shouldn't have won. You know, so once again, I see progress. I see guys getting better. That is one of the things I've been stressing this week is these next 3 games, we're not going to overlook anybody. We have to finish strong. We're still building. We're building for the spring semester. We're hoping to get multiple guys back spring semester that'll just add to our depth, add to our talent level, add to our size, our scoring ability. You know, so we've got to continue to build. But right now I'm happy. But I think there's a ton of room for growth because I see the talent. There are times where we look absolutely amazing. We look like a team that can compete for not only for a conference championship, but for a national championship. And then there are times where I'm pulling my hair out and there's some more gray ones coming in. So, you know, once again, that's part of coaching. That's part of learning. That's part of the growth process of a team. But right now I'm very happy, but we continue to still have to get better. We still have to build because you don't win championships in December. You win championships in March. And that's what we're building for.
One of the things your team does really well, you guys hold your opponents to about 35% from the floor. Defensively, this team seems to have some, I guess, some tenacity, some intensity. Is that something that that's something you really want to see out of this group?
That is something that we preach on a daily basis, is defense and rebounding. We want to be the best defensive team in the country. We want to be the best rebounding team in the country, because if you can do those two things, you give yourself a chance to win every single night. Defense and rebounding travel. No matter where you go, whether it's out to, Harriman, Tennessee, or Hutchinson, Kansas, defense and rebounding travel. So if we want a chance to compete, we want a chance to win championships, we have to be great defensively. Ironically, right now, I feel like we are a step behind where we were last year. Now, keep in mind, we were a top 5 defensive team last year in the country, and that is pretty good. We were also the number 1 rebounding team in the country last year, and that is really good. We aren't this team currently is not there yet. I do see sparks. I do see stuff that I say we can do it, but we're still learning how to be great defensively and how to dominate on the glass.
Once again, Coach Winston Neal of Columbia State men's basketball here on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. They will be playing at Columbia Central High School tomorrow at 1 p.m. and again at Columbia Academy on Monday at 1 p.m. And I believe we will be doing our show from that Columbia Academy game. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll be in the rafters for that one and looking forward to it. Coach, thanks for taking some time with us today. We appreciate it and looking forward to watching this team throughout the rest of the year.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all for having me. I look forward to seeing y'all on Monday.
All right. Go Braves.
Thanks, fellas.
All right. When we come back, we got some college football to talk about. A lot of random stuff happened yesterday. So some news to get to. We'll do that when we come back on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Day. Stick around with us. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
The sports talk show you've always wanted. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. From preps to pros. Live from the Lee Company studio. With the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yao.
Oh, yeah. Doesn't get any better. Little Richard, what's up? Why are you going to mute me for, man? Just turn me off. It's okay. It's all good. It's all good.
Just punching buttons.
He's muting you because you're talking over
Little Richard. Shut up.
Turn his mic off.
He said, shut up.
There you go.
Oh, man. Good golly, Mo. What a phenomenal show we've had. It's been a lot of fun. Talked to Brian Coleman, Winston, Neal in that last segment. We've talked some high school hoops. We've had a ton of top stories to get to. We got more top stories to get to. It's just going to – this has been a good show, and I'm looking forward to the remainder of it because we're going to talk a little bit of NHL off the top, as apparently at 1 o'clock there was a press release sent out by the Nashville Predators that Senior Vice President Gary Helper, sorry, I almost said Jerry, but then I remembered he's probably from Canada.
Hey.
Gary Helper announced his retirement after 24 years in Nashville and 40 total years in the NHL. I guess that means he was here when they started.
He was here when they started. And, you know, he and Pete Weber were probably
the first two people hired.
Bingo. Literally.
That's funny.
I mean, they were pretty much the front men for this franchise from the start. And, you know, he's been there all along. And he says in this release, not often is reality better than our dreams, but I am so grateful and appreciative to have lived and experienced a career that I couldn't possibly have dreamed of when I graduated from St. Bonaventure and began this journey. To begin working for my hometown team, Buffalo, the National Hockey League office, be part of two expansion franchises from day one, Tampa Bay and Nashville. And the 2010 U.S. Olympic hockey team has given me a lifetime of memories and friendships that I will forever treasure. My family and I will always be fans and look forward to watching the Predators franchise grow on the ice and continue to contribute to making the community a better place through the work of the Nashville Predators Foundation. So he currently works with the foundation. Let's see, what is his exact title?
Well,
Senior Vice President and Senior Advisor.
Well, before I realized, and I guess I just skipped over it, I thought it said Senior Vice President Advisor Helper. So I thought his title was Helper. And I was like, what does that even mean? But now I know the rest of the story.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you know, that's some good news out of the NHL. Some more semi good news that comes after some bad news. The Arizona Coyotes are caught up on their bills.
Okay.
Were you aware that they owed $1.3 million in taxes, and the Glendale city manager sent a letter to the Coyotes saying, we're going to lock you out of the Gila River Arena.
Goodness. Gila
River Arena if you don't pay.
Oh, goodness.
Yes.
Wouldn't that be some?
Well, they paid today. So clearly they had the money.
So there was getting ready to be a literal lockout.
Yeah. The Coyotes were,
for real lockout.
Yeah, like
you can't get in.
Yeah. Oh, they issued a statement Wednesday, the Coyotes did, saying the unpaid bills were an unfortunate human error and they would rectify the situation quickly. Yeah, we didn't want to pay you, but
it's a human error. Yeah, we didn't write the check. Yeah. Wow.
At least they won't have to worry about it, though. So, anyway, I just thought that was unique.
It is.
That's unheard of in a professional.
Well, it sounds like something
league
from the old ABA or something like that, you know.
It certainly sounds like something you would have heard from an arena football team. And that just is what it is. I've heard it so many times. I mean, indoor football teams don't pay their bills more times than not. So there's that. All right. Let's get into some college football because apparently there were some meetings about the college football playoff and expansion recently at some point. And nobody can agree on anything. Nobody. I don't know if it's going to be 4 teams, 8 teams, 12 teams, no teams. I don't know at this
It's
point.
going to be some teams.
They're not going to get everyone to agree on everything, but one would think that, and I guess the number of teams is the number one thing. That's the one thing you've got to get right. Everybody's got to agree that we've got to.
I don't know that everybody is going to agree on the number of teams even. Though.
Well, they will at least vote to approve it.
Well, yeah.
At some point. I mean, they're gonna come to a decision.
Well, yeah, but there's a difference in coming to a decision and coming to an agreement.
Well, that's fair. I don't,
because at some point somebody's going to have to say, this is what we're doing. This is how we're going to do this. And not everybody's going to like it.
When is this contract up? Is it 2024?
I believe so.
So we've got 3 years remaining on this 4-team playoff.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, where do they go? Where should they go? Because you were mentioning yesterday how the more you think about it, the more 12 teams.
I think 12 makes sense because that allows you to incentivize a top 4 finish. It also allows you your group of 5 entrants so that they don't feel so snubbed. You know, it allows Notre Dame, even though they're not in the conference and shouldn't be,
and BYU, who also not in the conference and probably would have been in the playoffs this year otherwise.
Well, they're about to be, though.
Well, that's true.
They're moving to the Big 12.
But they would have been. I'm saying if there were a 12.
Mm-hmm.
They would have been in the top 12, yeah.
Probably.
So I think 12. I think 12 is the most equitable for the most programs.
And the incentive
incentivization,
yes, and the incentive to be a top 4 team with
the bye
mm-hmm. is huge. Yeah. Well, and I don't know. Look, there's a tweet from Stuart Mandel that I don't know if this is just him being goofy or what, because I mean, obviously it could be. See, he's saying 26. Maybe we wait till 26. I don't know. Anyway, the ACC wants 8. SEC will only do 4 or 12. Big 10, Pac-12 want AQs for the Power 5 and 1 for the Group of 5. Group of 5 says, heck no. Mountain West is like, can we just get this done by January? And the ACC is like, there's not really any rush. To which the Pac-12 says, maybe we just wait till 26 and start over, huh?
I'm sure the ACC is in no rush.
They're not.
It's not like they're affected by any of this.
So, I mean, where do you go from here? What if nobody can agree? Are we going to end up with 4 teams just because that's what's already there? And this argument that we've been having, because a lot of the argument is we don't want to go to 12 because what if that's too many and
what?
We can't put the genie back in the bottle.
I don't think there's any truth to the fact that you can't put the genie back in the bottle, but I don't know how 12 is too many. I mean, what's the scenario under which 12 is too many?
Well, say you move to 8, right? You have 8 teams and one of the top 4 teams wins it every year. Well, maybe 8's too many. So, and I guess that's the thought process, but I mean, let's be honest here.
But it's not about who wins. It's about
who has the opportunity,
who can play.
Yeah.
Who gets a chance to play and to get that money.
It's all about the money.
Well, it's all about
So,
the money.
so that
but
doesn't matter if one of those top 4 teams wins every year. If there were 64 teams and one of those top 4 teams wins every year, it doesn't matter. In my opinion, it's all about
I agree.
the amount of teams that can get in. I mean, you look here are the brands. 5 is Notre Dame. Okay.
Mhm.
6 is Ohio State. All right. Then you got Baylor and Ole Miss. Good, but not traditional national brands. Oklahoma State, then Michigan State. And then you got Utah and Pitt, 11 and 12. Right behind them is BYU and Oregon. And then if you go to 16, Iowa's 15, Oklahoma is 16.
You're not going to 16.
No, I don't think so either. But
16 is too many.
I think 16 is too many. I think 12 is the perfect.
I think 12 is perfect because
16 is what they have in the FCS.
I think 12 is perfect because you've got the buys for the top 4.
Well, I mean, in the FCS, you have a bias for the top 8. I think they have. Is it 24 teams?
It is 24.
It's a lot.
It is.
And 1 or 2 teams win every year. 1, 2, or 3 or 4 seed every year.
but they have some, those first couple of rounds, there may be an upset here.
There definitely are.
Which is just like March Madness. I mean,
yeah.
I just think that the opportunity. I mean, we can't guarantee you that a 12 seed is going to win, but we can give a 12 seed a chance to play for a national championship.
And
what they do with it is on them. Just like Cincinnati getting the 4 seed this year, they're going to get drilled, but they had the shot. I mean, we can't play the game for them.
That's right. Well, I just thought that was an interesting. We'd heard a couple of times that there was 0 chance that there was going to be expansion. Then it got to where it felt like 12 was a done deal.
Mm-hmm.
And then it went back to
until the Oklahoma Texas news, and everybody else banded together against the SEC because of that.
Well, in truth and reality, geez, Mo, just break it. It's paid for. I mean, in truth and reality, you've got. I'm not necessarily against the idea of the SEC versus the field in a national championship game. We'll just play the SEC as it is, and then you guys give us a team and
match us up, and we'll see what happens.
Good luck. I mean, it's what it is anyway. Essentially,
give us 4 SEC teams and 8 of everybody else, and we'll see if we can get 2 to the finals.
I mean, I guess that's what they're scared of. That's what the SEC wants 12 teams because
the
more
opportunities, the more teams they're going to get in.
They're going to get 3 in
out of 12
at least every year.
What's it look like?
Am I not wrong?
Right. Well, this year you've got Alabama, Georgia already in,
and Ole Miss.
So you would get 3 in the top 12.
Jeez, could you imagine Ole Miss going to the college football playoff?
At least it wouldn't be a home game. Thank goodness. Can you imagine somebody having to come to the Grove in a postseason situation?
Would they play Baylor in that situation?
No, they would host Oklahoma State.
So they would.
As the 8th seed, assuming first 4 get a bye, and 12 travels to 5.
Those first round games are going to be home games then?
Yes,
I would think so.
Be at home.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and in that scenario, real quickly, Pittsburgh at Notre Dame. It would be Utah.
That would be fun.
Utah at Ohio State.
Not a bad one either.
Michigan State at Baylor, and then Oklahoma State at Ole Miss.
Give me 12 teams this year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if those were the New Year's 6 matchups, I'd watch every one of those. Every one of them. Yeah. Gundy versus Kiffin? Are you kidding me?
Please.
I'm here for that.
Yeah.
That's why, again, as we said yesterday with the bowl games, Monday, no such thing as too much college football.
No.
Especially when you're talking about the top 15 teams in the country.
And if there is, don't watch.
These guys are essentially professionals anyway. Why why are we trying to coddle them like they're not? Why are we trying to pretend like they're not? Because we're at some point, the NCAA has to stop pretending, right?
Good luck with that.
We'll talk about some of their NIL issues. Apparently, there's a report out detailing some potential
Concerns
in the name, image, and likeness. So stick around. We'll talk about it on the other side of the break right here on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
This is Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Sports talk like it used to be. You know, like your crazy uncle used to listen to. Only better. Here's Chris and Mo.
Welcome back in Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Valleys are low. Mo, the college football landscape changed drastically when the NIL went into effect. One of the positives coming out of that, EA Sports planning to launch its college football video game in the summer of 2023. That's the hope, they say. The hope. 2023. And EA Sports college football. Oof. Probably the biggest moneymaker that company had for many, many years. So I'm looking forward to it. They will be able to pay the players for their name, image, and likeness to use them. They may or may not. They may decide, we'll just use randomly generated players, but I can't imagine that's going to be the case. But Tim Shepard, a Big 12 reporter, says one of his sources has A&M, Texas A&M, Oklahoma, and Florida among the first schools undergoing investigation due to NIL rules being broken, supposedly. I don't even know what the rules are.
What would the rule be that they broke? I wonder.
I guess the only thing is the school cannot facilitate a deal. I mean, what I would do is I would have some of my PR and marketing students hooked up with the football players to facilitate those deals. And then you've got, you've got 2 students getting some real world experience. Be interesting. Is every school going to be investigated at some point?
I think that whatever the rules are, NCAA is probably going to be exceptionally vigilant regarding them since they've been given such leeway with NIL. I mean, you guys are printing money as it is. I mean, why can't you do what you need to do within the framework of what's legal?
Yeah. Darren Heitner, who is, per his Twitter bio, sports entertainment and IP lawyer at Heitner Legal, and teaches sports law at University of Florida. He's an NIL advocate. He owns a sports agent blog and wrote a book.
And apparently he's not much of a Tim Shepard fan. If you looked at this.
Hope you have more than one source.
After reading your tweets, I'm wondering why I even replied.
So
yeah. So we got folks beefing regarding this report, apparently.
I mean, I feel like Heitner would probably know if Florida was being investigated. I assume Florida would be like, "Hey, dude, you're a NIL lawyer. We got some things going on." I don't know. I mean, it's all new territory for everybody, including the NCAA, right? I mean, nobody knows what's going on.
Yeah. And to me, that's why it's a little odd to me.
And what are they investigating? We don't know. Maybe it's not a negative investigation. Maybe we don't know anything as it pertains to NIL at this point. I'm curious how this is going to affect these deals. I mean,
just because, like you said, just because there's an investigation going on doesn't mean anything's going to come out of it.
There's that. But I'm also afraid that if the NCAA starts poking around everywhere, that companies are going to be less open to the idea.
Why? The companies aren't under NCAA.
But if you are a fan of that team and you don't want NCAA, sanctions against your team, maybe you're more careful, or maybe you're like, this isn't worth the trouble that it could potentially cause, right? And maybe that's what the NCAA is trying to get to. Make it so frustrating for both the player and the school. All they're gonna end up doing is forcing the Power Five to create a whole new division to break off from the NCAA. They just keep pushing them away. It's like they're taking a pair of scissors and they're just like slowly cutting off their nose in spite of their face. And they still don't see it. I don't know how you don't see it. It's not the only thing going on in the world of NCAA football oversight. Apparently, Big 12 Commissioner Bob Bowlesby said the Oversight Committee has discussed eliminating the early signing period or moving it back to January, which we've been saying for a while. Again, I think the easiest way to fix this is not allowed to sign in December if you're not enrolling in January. If you sign early, you have to enroll. Otherwise, you have to wait.
What's your issue with early signing?
I don't have an issue with it. I'm saying if there is an issue, that's how you fix it. I'm a fan of the other one. I'm a fan of what the guy said yesterday, and that's put in the February deadline, but they can sign anytime they want to.
Here's something I heard today. Rick Neuheisel,
Oh yeah.
We're familiar.
Yes. He has a daily talk show on satellite radio, but his thoughts today on the early signing period was to move that up to middle of August.
Before the season.
Okay. Get them, those that want to sign early, that already know, no more recruiting, get them in.
Let me play my senior season without having to deal with stuff.
And then, because now with the portal, the transfer portal, right now is when these football coaches need to be doing exit interviews, trying to figure out who's staying, who's going on their roster, much less worry about who's coming in. And then you keep the February signing day, but only open the portal from like Thanksgiving to New Year's.
The only issue that I would have with an August signing period pre-senior year is, let's take Jake McNamara, for instance. Jake McNamara would have signed with Colorado State in August.
Yep. That's a problem.
Yeah.
How about this?
Well, if
How about
it's
high
not
school players opting out?
I think if it's that early, they may not. They may wait. I mean, it depends on the situation. Depends on what the school.
Well, I mean, let's look at that situation. This was Adazio's second season, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what are the odds of him getting fired after 2 years?
Very low.
And so, who's considering that?
Yeah.
So, Jake McNamara's thinking, I'm going to go ahead and lock in, not have to deal with this, and get ready to go in January.
Well, wouldn't you think that there should be a clause that if the coach is not there that recruited you, you have the opportunity to withdraw that?
Well, I mean, there's not been one at any point in the last 20 years. I don't know why they'd put one in now.
Well, not many coaches getting fired in February, but understand the point.
Or in August.
Well, his point was, they haven't had a clause for you to opt out because in February, coaches aren't getting fired. They're fired between December and February.
They're being fired right now.
Yeah.
So
that early signing period.
And I think the early signing period is a good idea, especially for those who want to enroll early. But again, let's limit it to those people. And I think that's a good compromise for both sides. We can still have it, but they've got to enroll early. Seems like, again, it seems like a fair compromise to me as far as Captain Chaos is concerned with fairness.
I think it is good news, though, that the Oversight Committee is at least acknowledging this and open to potentially adjusting. Being willing to address something that needs to change, because when this came into play, there was no transfer portal. And that has completely changed recruiting.
It has.
Completely changed recruiting. More so than the early signing day. The transfer portal has completely changed it. Because now you're not only focused on high school recruits, you're focused on college athletes.
Yep. And you're holding spots.
Yeah. Trying to balance the
transfer
two
guys, just to make sure that you aren't full in case somebody comes out into the portal.
It's a constant game of chance. I don't envy these college coaches outside of their paychecks.
Right.
I mean, they're getting paid, heftily for these challenges. So I don't feel bad for them, but it's a difficult position. At least the money's going up with the challenges, right?
Yeah.
in most places.
I mean, that's what they say, that your paycheck should adequately resemble your
Yeah.
stress level.
Don't like that? Then go coach at a smaller school that pays less.
Less stress level.
That's what some could say.
Dennis Dodd tweeted that Mark Emmert said the NCAA is investigating a number of schools for NIL violations. That was tweeted yesterday. Do they even have to cooperate with the NCAA on this stuff? Like, I mean, it's a private contract between a private individual and a private company.
I don't know what they have to do, but I know what the folks at Oklahoma State would tell you.
Do not cooperate.
Don't if they find it, they find it. Don't help them with anything.
They really screwed the pooch on that.
Yeah.
The NCAA, they just absolutely screwed the pooch on that, man. Well, college football is an ever revolving door of goofiness, especially at this level. At the FBS level, the Power 5 level, it just gets nuts. And it's only going to get crazier. Everything with NIL is new. The college football playoff is technically new. I mean, we had a 10-year contract to do what we're doing, but it certainly seems like everything is changing. And the more things change, the more they stay the same, I guess. But because the NCAA isn't keeping their nose out of it.
Well, that's their job. How much time we got?
A minute. What you got?
Brentwood Academy graduate, former Vanderbilt player Mike McIntyre has been named new football coach at Florida International, replacing Butch Davis. Spent the last 2 years as defensive coordinator at Memphis, previously head coach at San Jose State and at Colorado, both of which places he won National Head Coach of the Year awards. So he's also National Assistant Coach of the Year at Duke back in 2009. So, son of former Vanderbilt coach George McIntyre. Back at it.
That's going to do it for your Thursday edition. Come back tomorrow. It's Friday and the weekend. For Mo Patton and JP Plant, I'm Chris Yao saying have a great day. Stay cool, Columbia.